Continuing with the draft analysis series that I've been doing, we're moving on to a guy that a lot of people see as a dark horse going into this year's draft, and his name is Rashee Rice. Some notable stats about this guy. So he finished off the year 2022 with 96 receptions, 1,355 yards, 10 touchdowns, and an average of 14.1 yards per reception. Moving on to the pros and cons list, we're going to start off with the pros. So he's got amazing ball skills. He's great at tracking the ball, gets his head around fast. He's got amazing hands and catch radius. Genuinely, that's, I think, what a lot of people know him for, is that he's really great contested catcher. Genuinely amazing. Great balance. Again, contested catcher, really good with that. Great physical receiver. Great frame, consistent development. He got better every single year at SMU. And then also a very aggressive blocker, and then could be a really great slot receiver. It definitely could fill a need. Moving on to the cons list, it's a short list, but nevertheless, I do have some concerns about him. Agility needs some work. I say that a lot about people needing to open up their hips, but it's true. It's especially true for wide receivers, and especially true for him as well. He needs more of that twitchiness that we recognize for slot receivers. And if he had that twitchiness, I think he would get a lot more separation on his routes. And again, moving on to my next point, need to see more separation on routes. I'll show you some film with this. This is what I mean. Like I said, he's a very physical receiver, but again, he doesn't get that separation on routes because he just doesn't have that twitchiness. You know, like a lot of those slot receivers that we see in the NFL have that kind of twitch that leaves defenders either in the dust or away from the route. And he just doesn't have that, but he's a very physical guy, and he can definitely make the catch on contested catches, again, but he just doesn't have that separation. Not enough diverse routes, and then the strength of schedule, he went to SMU, so you know how it is, and then not enough diverse routes, could struggle with more complicated ones in the future, and he also has some pretty stiff routes. Again, going back to the point where I mean, like, he doesn't have that twitchiness. I'm sure he would be really great on the post and slant, which is what he does a lot at SMU. But again, it's just he needs to have more of those complicated routes for me to see kind of what he can do. So where do I see him going? I see him somewhere in the third or fourth round. I think that you could get a lot of value for him there. Maybe late third, early fourth round. That works for me. Honestly, for the team I think he could be really good for, maybe the Panthers, maybe the Ravens, perhaps also the Giants if they really need to fill a need like that. But yeah, that's my prediction for it, and that's my analysis as well. And then let me know what you think in the comments.